All right, let's talk about building a fortress. And no, I'm not talking about bricks and mortar. I'm talking about your digital world. In just the next few minutes, we're going to lay out a super simple blueprint to lock down everything. From your email to your bank account. Ready? Let's dive in. So let me ask you something right off the bat. Just take a second and think. How many online accounts do you actually have? 10? 20? Maybe 50? I'm willing to bet it's way more than you think. I mean, you've got social media, all your shopping sites, banking, streaming, the list just goes on, right? Okay, so stick with me here. Let's imagine your entire digital life is a house. And every single one of those accounts we just mentioned, yeah, each one is a door. A potential way in for anyone you really don't want snooping around. And that right there brings us to the biggest question of all, the one that really matters. So, how strong are your locks? Because let's be honest, a house with 100 doors is going to need 100 really, really good locks. So let's start with the absolute basics, the most common lock we all use every single day, the key to our digital front door. Now, I'm talking about passwords, of course, but we need to start thinking bigger. It's time to upgrade from a simple password to a powerful passphrase. Just look at the difference here. It's night and day. On the left, you've got the old school way of thinking, a password like p@password. It looks clever with the symbols and numbers, but for a modern computer, that's child's play. But on the right, that's the new vault, a passphrase, something like flucat, book through there. So why is it so much better? It's simple, really. It's all about the length. That length creates a truly mind-boggling number of combinations that would take a computer basically forever to guess. Okay, so how do you actually make one of these that's super strong, but also something you can, remember? Well, here's a dead simple recipe. First, think of a sentence that's memorable for you. Then, you just grab the first letter of each word, mix it up a bit with some upper and lowercase letters, swap out a letter for a similar-looking number, and for the final touch, toss in a special character. And boom, what you're left with is a passphrase that's an absolute nightmare for a machine to guess, but it's all based on a simple phrase that's easy for you to recall. Look, a great lock on your front door is absolutely essential. We've established that. But for your really important stuff, your email, your bank, you need a deadbolt too. And in our digital world, that deadbolt has a name, multi-factor authentication, or MFA for short. And just how good is this deadbolt? Well, the numbers here are pretty staggering. According to the National Cybersecurity Alliance, enabling MFA blocks, wait for it, 99% of automated cyber attacks. I mean, let that sink in. 99%. Seriously, if you only do one thing after hearing this, please make it this. Go turn on MFA everywhere you can. So how does it work? Well, MFA is all about combining different kinds of proof that you are who you say you are. You need at least 2 of these 3 keys to get in. The first is something you know, like your passphrase or a PIN. The second is something you have, like your phone, which gets a special code sent to it. And the third is something you are. That's biometrics, like your fingerprint or your face. Think about it. A hacker might be able to steal your password, but it's a whole lot harder for them to also steal your phone and your fingerprint at the same time. Okay, so our doors are locked and deadbolted. Awesome. But what about the actual walls of our digital house? That's where firewalls come into the picture. You can think of them as the big fence and the security guard at the gate for your entire network, deciding what gets in and what has to stay out. Yeah, at its heart, a firewall is really just a security system that puts up a barrier. It sits there and watches all the data traffic coming into and going out of your network, like, say, your home Wi-Fi. And it makes a call on what's allowed through and what gets blocked, all based on a set of security rules you can set. It's literally the digital guard at the gate. And these digital walls has gotten a lot smarter over the years. They didn't just appear overnight. They started off as pretty simple traffic filters back in the 80s and have evolved into these really sophisticated systems today that can actually understand the type of data trying to get in. The bottom line here is that as the threats out there get more complex, our defenses are constantly getting smarter right along with them. All right, the outside of our house is secure. What about the really valuable stuff inside? For your most sensitive files, your private messages, you need a safe. And in the digital world, that safe is called encryption. It's basically the art of scrambling your information so it's complete gibberish to anyone who shouldn't be seeing it. Now, encryption protects your data in two really important situations. First, there's data in transit. That's when your data is actively moving across the internet, like when you send an email or buy something online. Encryption here is like an armored truck, keeping it safe on its journey. Then there's data at rest. This is data that's just sitting still, on your hard drive or in the cloud. In this case, encryption is the locked vault, protecting it even if somebody physically steals the computer.
So how does this digital safe actually work? Well, it all comes down to keys. With symmetric encryption, it's pretty simple. You use the exact same key to both lock and unlock the data. It's fast, it's efficient. But asymmetric encryption, this is the magic that makes the secure internet possible. Think of it like a personal mailbox. Anyone with your public key can drop a message in the slot, but only you have the special private key to open the box and actually read what's inside. Super secure for sharing things.
So let's recap. We've got strong locks, we've got deadbolts, we've got sturdy walls, and we've got safes inside for our valuables. Now let's put it all together into one complete security blueprint that you can actually use. And here it is, your 5-point blueprint for a digital fortress. Number 1, encryption. That's the safe we talked about for your most important data. Number 2, backup and recovery. Think of this as your fireproof copy of everything important just in case. Number 3, access control. These are our strong passphrases and MFA, the locks and deadbolts on every single door. Number 4, network security. That's our firewall, the strong outer wall protecting the whole property. And finally, number 5, physical security. Hey, don't forget to lock the actual device. See? Every single layer here works together to keep you safe. We've gone through a lot, I know, but it all really comes back to that one simple idea we started with. Your digital house has many, many doors. So the one question I want to leave you with is this. Have you checked all the locks?